This is the Bush Whisperer coming at you from the beautiful Penguin Sanctuary, southern tip of Africa, Boulders Beach, Simonstown, Cape Town. Impressions. What are impressions? We're going to roll with the impressions. From a shamanic perspective, impressions are reactions that we have to this great dream of life. Our imprint upon dream time, our reaction to our own consciousness field, revealing the nature of self to ourselves through the expression of this world, as this world is an expression of who and what we are. The dream time is the fundamental facilitation of this in the most profound way. So we can understand that everything that we think we are and everything that we think we know, in essence, is an impression. Beliefs are impressions. I want you to consider impressions from a more practical consideration. Smash the like button and share this video. Get it out there, work the algorithms. If you think of your feet making imprints in the sand, a lovely brother has put this idea in my head, and I keep contemplating it, and it keeps making such beautiful sense. He's the Birdman brother, Ronan Birdman. I like to consider this in its most profound way, and to understand the way in which this works, getting the sense. Good morning again, gents. Enjoy. Getting the sense that life is an expression of impression, and that what we take from life is our impression of the expression. And this is reflected perfectly in the Song of Dreamtime, and can be seen with our footprints on the sand.
Wow, it sounds brilliant. You're going to be good at school.
So these footprints in the sand can be seen as the reverberations of consciousness. It's a wonderful metaphor to understand the way in which we react to the world, the way in which the world impresses itself upon our consciousness field, and that what we take from this world are like the footprints in the sand, and that our choice, which is our footprint, is what we leave in the world, which is what we take from the world. So it's like a double-ended system, and that what we consider as impressions can be considered as reactions, but the reaction is from the source of expression. So I'd like you to consider that impressions and expressions come from each other, that the idea of an expression comes from an impression, as the idea of an impression comes from an expression. And here we have the little dilemma of the chicken and the egg once again. Keeps coming up. The eggless chicken or the chickenless egg. Which one was it? And so we can understand that the appearance of being is this illusion of duality, the illusion of that which comes from within us, projecting out at the world, and that which we receive from the world, which we bring back inside ourselves. But what we project is relative to what we've received, and what we receive is relative to what we've projected. So we have a confluence of form, a confluence of fate. This is the way in which the time stream operates through our consciousness and our awareness. And this is the way in which we experience the electromagnetic field of consciousness that is manifesting reality. So the impressions that we take from the world are the expressions of the impressions of ourselves, which are the expressions of the world. I want you to consider that a little bit. If you study the Kabbalah, the four worlds, this will make sense. If you study shamanism, the three worlds will be the three principles operating between these four aspects. If you are studying yoga, the three aspects, the three bandhs. If you're studying Taoism, you will have the physical reality, you will have the chi, you will have the shen. So whichever tradition you're looking at, there will be these principles being revealed. When you look at the elemental attributions in the Chinese system, you have water, fire, and you have metal and wood, which are two expressions of air. Metal and wood that can cut air. And these are all finding their home within earth, which is the conduit through which these three principles can operate. And that the air principle is polarizing and polar in its nature because it exists between fire and water. Hence you have the wood and the metal. So as we consider the nature of impression, it's important to realize that it relates to pressure, for the word pressure is a part of it. And in the same way that we can consider, good day, hello, in the same way that we can consider the universe as being an impression from the self, of the world, from the world, we can consider the nature of reality of being an expression of pressure of consciousness, which becomes light, and the light creates an impression. The impression is expressed. The expression is once again impressed upon by the impression of the expression. And so you have these principles always at work. And so the nature of reality is a dual one. But when we look within the duality, we see that each duality is a duality in itself, producing four. And that there are three principles at work, three fundamental states, the mystic number of four, that operate through this dual polarity. So it's a new way of considering polarity when we understand what impressions are. In order for an impression to exist, there has to be an expression. For impression is our expression of reaction to circumstances that are outside of ourselves. And so you begin with the circumstance that's outside of yourself. Then you have your reaction to it. And then you have the impression that comes to you as a result of your reaction. And when you put these all together, you find that this is the expression of life. This is how life is expressed. And so we live this life as a journey, expressing these three fields, these three aspects of consciousness as a journey. And so the journey is a journey through time, which is the causal expression of these principles, which relates to the beginning, moving towards the end, and is happening now. And because you have the beginning moving towards the end happening now, this is the number 3, you find this continuity of time, which is 4, through which these 3 operate. So you can think of the number 4 as being this expression. And then you can consider the number 4 as being part of another dynamic polarity, which brings us to the number 8. For we experience all of this subjectively, and we experience all of this objectively. And within each sphere of objective and subjective, these same principles are at work. So it brings us to the number 8. And here we have the concept of time coming into form. The hourglass. The twisting of the proverbial circle. And here we have the origin of yang yin. Yang yin, if you look at it, is a circle that's being twisted. And it's symbolic of a folded circle, in a sense. There's a symbolic 8 being represented in the yang yin, even though it's a duality. And this is because of the pressure of being that exists between the polarities. And our take on this pressure of being, which creates polarities and dualities, is what we receive as an impression. Smash the like, share this video, get the algorithms working for us. Hope you're enjoying it. And always consider your impressions deeply, for impressions are important. The subconscious is able to communicate with us directly through the impressions that we receive. And the impressions are the expressions of the subconscious field, which is our deeper awareness. This is how the guides communicate through the shaman. Guides are the impressions of the expressions from within. This is the way we listen to them. We get an impression from the expression of the sea. We get an impression from the expression of the wind. An impression from the expression of the bird song. And so this leads one on an inner journey towards a shamanic reality, which are fundamentally 3 states of being. And these 3 states of being, when we take them into confluence, creates the 4th reality where we're living. And here we have the 4 worlds of the Kabbalist, the 4 states of being. It will give you an insight into observing the pyramids when you consider this. For what is shown of the pyramids on the top are the 4 sides of the pyramid. But when you consider the pyramid very closely, and I'm talking about the Great Pyramid, you'll notice that the 4 sides, when you look at it, has an apex. So there is a 5th fundamental directional axis upon which these 4 sides rotate. And that could be seen as the Akasha, could be seen as the quintessence, could be seen as the Ishtar, or the spiritual focus from whence things come as they move towards it, through this inner and outer world of impressions and expressions. And when we observe the Great Pyramid very closely, we'll notice at certain times of the year when the light is just right, the sun is at the right place, that the ancient Egyptians built the pyramid in such a way that there's a very, very subtle nuance of polarity within each of the 4 sides. You can't see it unless the light's right. And then you'll see there are 8 sides above exposed. This is the fundamental structure of time. And there's 1 square beneath, which is connecting all 4 of these aspects, bringing us back to the 5, as above, so below. So there's this wonderful information to be seen by studying the mathematics and the geometry of these pyramids, these ancient structures. And one can gain an insight into the nature of reality and oneself by understanding these principles. For this is where number comes from. This is the essential heart of numerology being expressed as it is. And so one can observe this all begins with the duality. Understanding the impressions that we can get from the subconscious is a doorway to understanding the expression of the soul. And the best way to do this is to watch reality. Close your eyes. Feel the impression of the air upon your skin. Feel the impression of the air in your lungs upon your lungs. Feel the impression of thought as it's radiating towards your body. Feel the impression of heat and the expression of heat through your body. Sorry, I had to talk to my son because he was being very rude to the people passing by. He was throwing little pieces of rubbish at them. Little things, just being a little brat. So the impression and the expression is what we're left with in the nature of this duality. And it's so fundamental to understanding who we are in this world, is being able to relate to the fact that everything that we express is essentially an impression. Remember this. Keep this to your heart. And you'll understand that subjectivity and objectivity might seem like they're worlds and oceans apart, but they're actually the same thing. They're the same reality. They're the same essential stream of consciousness, just perceived from a different perspective. Do like, share, and subscribe so you don't miss any of the daily uploads to this channel. They're coming hard and fast every day. And follow the series from the beginning to the end. This is season 2. That's how the lessons have been created for you, to gain the best from them. And enjoy your day. And observe what are impressions as you move through life. And realize when you're expressing how other people are impressed by your expressions. You gain an insight into the nature of the consciousness field, how it works. This is the Bush Whisperer coming at you from the beautiful Penguin Sanctuary. Have an absolutely gorgeous day. Enjoy yourself and be well. Om Shanti.